Hello everyone, welcome back to the Azure Storage Services tutorial. In this video, we will discuss about the Azure Managed Disk. We will see the introduction of Azure Managed Disk and we will see the benefit of Azure Managed Disk. So let's start with the introduction of Azure Managed Disk. So Azure Managed Disk are block level storage volume that are managed by the Azure and used with Azure virtual machine. Now for an example, if we want to perform some operation on the virtual machine or the VM and we want to store the operating system, then such kind of the things we can do on the disk. So basically we deploy our VMs or means operating system on the disk. Now these managed disks are likely a physical disk in on basically a premises server, but these are the virtualized. If we want to create a managed disk, then we have to provide the disk size, disk type and provision the disk. Once we give the provision to the disk, Azure handle the rest. So this is the Azure managed disk. Now if we talk about the types of the Azure disk, so generally there are the two types, and one is the unmanaged disk and next is the managed disk. If we talk about the unmanaged disk, so it is a traditional type of the disk that has been used by the VMs. With these disks we can create our storage account and specify that storage account when we create the disk. Like we should not put so many disks in the same storage account, otherwise it will give a bad performance over the VM. Now if we talk about the managed disk, so it handles the storage account creation and management in the background for us and ensure that we do not have to worry about the scalability limits of storage account. We specify the disk size and the performance tier, and Azure create and manage the disk for us. So that is the managed disk. Now if we talk about the types of the managed disk, so first is the ultra disk. So this ultra disk is basically a SSD type and it is an IO intensive workload such as SAP and HANA top tier of the database. Means if we want to perform high level of the things or we want to store like heavy workload, then we should go with the ultra disk and it works in that way. Now next is the premium SSD disk. So it is backed by the SSD and deliver high performance low latency disk support for VMs running IO intensive workload. The premium SSD disks are mainly used for production and database server. So if we are hosting a database in a particular server, then the premium SSD will be a good option. And next is standard SSD disk. So it is designed to address the same kind of the workload as standard SSD disk but offer more consistent performance and reliability than HDD. It is suitable for application like web server and do not need high IOPs on the disk. Now next is the standard HDD disk. So standard HDD disk is basically it deliver cost effective storage and it can be replicated locally in one data center or can be geographically redundant with primary and secondary data center. So these are the couple of the types of the disk we have in Azure. Now in this picture you can see the difference or the types of the different like this disk we are having and their features. According to that we can see. Now next thing, if we talk about the benefits of the managed disk, then first is the highly durable and it is available. Means managed disks are designed for 99.999% availability. Means it is always available for us to create our own disk for us, and these are highly durable and always available. Managed disks achieve this by providing you with three replicas for our data, allowing for high durability. Now these type of the durability protect us from not only one but two failure of disk replicas. Means like if we are having the three disks, or in that three disks if one disk is not working, then as in backup we have other two disks. So that is the most advantage when we go with the Azure disk. Now next is, it is very simple and scalable VM deployment. Means using managed disk we can create up to 50,000 VM disks of a type in a subscription per region or the area. This allows us to create thousands of the virtual machine in one subscription. We can create VM scale set that include up to 1000 VM per set, and it is provided us use a marketplace image. Now next thing is integration and availability sets. So managed disks are integrated with both availability set and availability zones. The integration with availability set ensure that VM disks within an availability set are isolated from one another. These protect your application from a single point of the failure within Azure data center. Now these availability zone integration protect application from entire Azure data center failure. Now the next benefit is Azure backup support. So since Azure backup support the backup and restore of managed disk, we can use Azure backup to create backup jobs to protect our data. Now these VM, like this makes VM restore a snap, like as in snap it restored the data. Currently Azure backup support disk size up to 32 terabyte disk. Now next is the granular access control. Means using Azure role-based access control or RBAC, you can specify granular access control for managed disk. You can assign a specific permission for managed disk to your users. Now next is the upload your VHD. Means Azure managed disk make it easier to upload your on-prem VMs to Azure, because you can use direct upload to transfer your VHD file to Azure managed disk. You can use direct upload to upload VHDs up to 32 terabyte in the size. Now if we talk about the disk role in Azure, so basically there are three disk role in Azure, and these role include data disk, OS disk and temporary disk. Now if we talk about the data disk, so and next is the OS disk and temporary disk as we have discussed. Now if we talk about the data disk, so a data disk is a managed disk that attached to a virtual machine to store application data or other data that you need to keep. When you attach a data disk to a VM, it is registered as a SCSI drive. You can assign a drive letter to a data disk just like any other physical disk in a physical server. Data disk have a max capacity of 32 terabytes, and the number of the data disk that you can attach to a virtual machine will be determined by the size of virtual machine itself. Now next is the OS disk. So every virtual machine has one attached operating system disk. That OS disk has a pre-installed OS which was selected when the VM was created. Now these disks contain the boot volume. The max capacity of an OS disk is 4 terabyte. Now next is the temporary disk. So temporary disk is basically most VM contain it temporary disk which is not a managed disk, and it associate with the virtual machine that will be located in underlying hardware from where the service is provisioned. Now so like the server is provisioned, so the temporary disk will not be stored in the storage account. It will be stored in the underlying hardware from where this server is located. So means these temporary disks are generally not stored in the storage account. Generally it like stored in the underlying hardware and from where this server is located. Now if you want to know more about this Azure disk, you can go this through this link and can learn more about the Azure disk. So that's it for this video. If you have any question and doubt, please comment. Thank you.